Hey Gemini, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. We're doing a summer love reading over here. So that's the focus of this reading. We're going to be using Oracle deck cards and clarifying those Oracle deck cards. Over on Vimeo, I've put the general reading. It's a more traditional tarot spread with a tarot deck. And it can talk about anything. It is talking about well, the whole top row is about you knowing something and pretending you don't know something, but it's becoming undeniable. And there might be a sense where you need to allow yourself to change. Allow your definition of yourself and who you think of yourself as to change. So if that resonates for you, head over to Vimeo. For my part as a reader, it felt like a very powerful reading. I've already shuffled these cards. I don't know why I'm continuing to do this. Okay. Bird's eye view, their position, your position, possible action, results from that action, and how you might grow from this. Bleh. This is all reversals, people. Except for the last thing, how you might grow from this. So if it's a very tired, reversals always feel like something's really out of sorts. Something's really, like, it's not just a couple cards here. It's like basically this whole row. And then we get it upright at the end, though. We get something upright at the end. So something makes sense at the end. But right now, some sort of love and romance situation isn't really working for you. There's a lot that's not understood about it. And there's a lot that feels like it's going in the wrong direction. All right, well, let's get going here. Bird's eye view, overall, what the hell is going on? It's deep knowing, it's in reverse. Like, we don't know what's going on. There's just a lack of clarity again. Same with the general reading over on Vimeo. We have the eyes closed. The eyes closed. There's not just a lack of deep knowing. There's like a sense of not wanting to know anything, of ignoring something. Again, we have the moon. We have the eyes closed. We have ignoring something. And it's not, nobody's happy. There's a need for a deep dive, a need for information to come forward, or introspection. There's a lot unknown here. So that's helpful. Very helpful message. Thank you, cards. There's a lot unknown here. Well, we didn't know that, did we? There's a lot unknown here. So their position, they are not helpful. They either feel very helpless, like it's leg up. So in the upright, we'd be talking about, oh, you're going to get some help. Someone's going to come along and help you. So, but we have this upside down. So either they're not helping much in the information. There's a lack of understanding, a lack of knowing. They're not helping with that. They're not helping to correct that. They could also be, so it's helpless in a couple different ways here. There's a sense of, like, they might feel helpless. This other person might feel helpless, might not know what to do, might not know how to help the situation, but they can also feel helpless. And in that way, in that not knowing how to help a situation, they aren't helping the situation because they don't know how. They don't know what to do. They don't have, there's that saying, we give what we've got, right? So they may not have help to give. They may not be able to help the situation. They may not be able to bring any clarity. They may not understand the situation themselves. There's a sense of, not only are they not helping, they're not receiving help either. There's just like a breakdown in sort of help and assistance, right? There's no, like, the ladder to where we want to go of this higher understanding of the situation is missing a bunch of rungs. And it's missing a bunch of rungs for them. So they don't have rungs. They don't have extra rungs to put in them themselves. So there's just like, yeah, we have a ladder, but it's not working and I can't fix it. So I don't know what to fix. I don't have the tools to fix it. So they may feel a lack themselves, a lack in ability to help the situation or to add to the situation. And in that lack, they're not being very helpful to the situation because they can't help themselves. There's no help to be had for them, or from them. For them or from them. If there was help coming in for them, then they might be able to provide something, they might be able to pass that on, right? We're all, helping each other. Some of the misunderstandings of independence and being independent is somehow that we don't need each other, but we all need each other, and we all need that connection with each other. But it's sort of a line, right? And when that gets broken down, if we are missing one rung, then we can't go to the next rung on the ladder, because it's just, you can't get to the next rung if you're lacking on this one. So there's another message that wants to come in here about that. There's a helplessness. Well, hopefully, if it's important, it'll come back. So your position, not for you, but it's in reverse. There's a nope in reverse on this chessboard. So, but you're not sure if this is a no. There's strategy. Oh, this kind of came up in the other reading too, as far as like accomplishing something, but making sure it's not just like a Pyrrhic victory of, yep, you did it, you got what you wanted. You're not happy with it, but you got what you wanted. But this is questioning whether something is or is not for you. You don't know yet. There's no certainty here. It's not, you're not getting a sense that this isn't, there's like, this person isn't helping the situation, but you're also not like understanding if something is over. You're lacking clarity. And so you can't bring any clarity or knowledge to the situation, right? Because we can't give what we don't have. So you don't have clarity on whether something is or is not for you. And so that might be, and they can't help the situation because they don't have any help to give. And you can't bring any clarity to the situation because you don't have any clarity yourself. There's no clear winner or loser here. There's not, it's like a draw. It's not clear. What is it? There's something, you can't access the answer. You can see something, but you can't access it. There's a sense of suppressing the answer. There's a sense of, you may not have the answer because you're suppressing it. As long as there's a sense of freedom on one side of this equation, and as long as you don't open up the fortune cookie, as long as you don't look too hard, as long as you don't crack something open, this could be your mouth. As long as you don't talk about it, you maintain your freedom. Because on one side, there's freedom. On the other side, there's rules, there's regulations, there's strategy and game playing, and the possibility of losing all of that. But on this side, as long as you don't go looking for answers, as long as you don't open your mouth, as long as you don't ask questions you don't want the answers to, you have freedom. But there's like this sense of, you know how in movies, how they're like, you know, the couple will be on either side. What's that movie about? That poet. What's it called? Like Bright Star or something like that, about Keats. Anyway, so they're madly in love and they're touching the door on either side. And it's like that. Like there's something that you want, but instead of being in the room with it, you're just kind of touching the door or touching the wall. They're on either sides of the wall, right? The common little thing. They're on either sides of the wall. They're feeling each other's energy through the wall. And it's like that with your answer or with something that you want. Like you're not going to go in the room with it. You're not going to have a direct experience with what you want, but you are drawn enough in to touch the energy of it, to touch the wall that stands between you and some sort of clarity. So you're continually being drawn, not to a door, not to a window, not to actually understanding and seeing the answer. You're being drawn to a wall that has the energy of the answer on the other side. But you like the barrier. You want the barrier to stay there. So you're not clearing up this lack of understanding yourself because you don't want, there's something in you that's resisting, that's both drawn to and repelled by the answer. So as long as you stay in this stasis without cracking, as long as that fortune cookie stays whole, as long as nobody gets that, the script or the fortune from the fortune cookie, as long as nobody reads anything, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But nothing will be cleared up. Possible action. It's blessed in reverse. Cursed, I guess, right? No, it just, if you just, I feel like the denial, that's what I see here is like some part of you being drawn to something but not wanting to open the door, not wanting to open it up, not wanting to talk about something. When it drawn enough into a situation to press up against it, but not drawn enough in to open the door or open the window or open up. So blessed here is a possible action. I mean, we have prayer, but we have this reversal. Seeing where this is, how this is messed up, or how this is I feel like there's a search for, there's a search for information. Oh, there might be a search, allowing yourself to see the negatives of something, to see how something it doesn't work. Having deja vu here, to see how something doesn't work, to see what parts of maybe what you're doing, maybe looking at what doesn't work. And where sort of the curses are. And that's where I think we're going with this message in a bottle at the end here, which is upright, is being able to see sort of the family curse or the story that's been passed on about, that maybe you've clung to and you've passed on about how hopeless things are, how difficult things are, how much work things are, how all of that it's looking at places in which you believe that you are cursed, either from family of origin issues or your own experiences in the past, looking at where you feel that you are cursed, where you feel that you've experienced repeated and why, and looking at all of that. I think this, you don't want to look at all of it, but you got to crack open at least yourself. If you're going to have a message to give someone else, you got to get that from yourself. So there's this sense of, I think the possible action is to look at and examine, again, you have your eyes closed here, is to feel where you feel cursed. And so the results of that action, you're going to see how limited it's imagination. Imagine in reverse. And we've got this moon again with the eyes closed. Or if you continue to feel that you're cursed, you'll continue to not see the possibilities. If you continue to, refuse to see, because we're keeping our eyes closed in all of these. If you continue to refuse to see where your blessings are, you're going to continue to not be able to see them in the future. right? You can't see how the future can be. You can't imagine a better future from where you're at right now with your freaking eyes closed and in sort of feeling cursed, feeling all of that. It's limiting your ability to imagine a better future. If these were upright, this story would be so freaking cool. It would be like, you're blessed and you can see and imagine a very beautiful future. So from the supposition that you are blessed, you can imagine a gorgeous dream and a future, a beautiful dream. You can reach it. You can, but because we have these in reverse, your sense of being cursed or of not blessed, of something never being able to work out, it's actually dragging you down. That vision has you drowning, it's pulling you into some sort of dark depths, when in fact it should be something that you're grabbing onto and rising yourself up, like this image of the future, this imagining of the future, pulling yourself towards it, pulling yourself up towards it, if you felt that you were blessed. But because you feel like you're cursed and nothing ever works out, your image of the future is limited, right? That's sort of like manifestation 101. You feel like you're cursed, you feel like nothing ever works out. Well, then that's all you see for your future. And then you don't take the actions you could take to create a beautiful future, because you can't imagine a beautiful future. So this is like worst case scenarioing here, because this continuing to feel like you're cursed just leaves you with this imagination of the future that is worst case scenario and kind of a nightmare, honestly. It's just dragging you down, and heaviness and pressure and all that stuff that happens, when we drown, when we're it's just going to go deeper and deeper into your subconscious here. These heavy feelings and these intense feelings. It's like there's a sense too of like Moby Dick, of like something you desire kind of taking over. And is that your fear taking over? Because that desire, it's not necessarily desire, it's the insecurity about not getting what you want. It's about something dragging you, that you should be more in charge of your imagination, of your future. But instead, your fears and your sense of being cursed have you. It's the tail wagging the dog kind of idea here. So how you might grow from this, message in a bottle. So this is where we're talking about things from your past coming up, emerging here. Something that realizations and revelations about maybe beliefs about relationships and romance that you grew up with, or beliefs about relationships and romance that you've developed. So this is a message that you have for yourself, for your future self. So you're going to access that and learn a lot, learn something. Like you sent yourself off, you were like in a really bad place, and you gave yourself some sort of message, and you're going to like remember that message or understand that, or have some sort of realization about something in your past is going to come in and bring you some insight here. You're going to understand your past. You're going to understand where you've been. You're going to understand all of that. If you sort of deal with your sense of being cursed, there's a lot of insight here that's been waiting for you to find it. All right, so we're going to pull from this deck. Their position, your position. This deck is Bird's Eye View and Results. And this deck is, we're already pretty far into this, how you're going to grow from this. So deep knowing, we have my dear friend. We have a long-term relationship, or the possibility for a long-term relationship. This is a really great card to come out in a relationship reading, because it is about relationships, and it's about relationships with the potential for some longevity. Are you going to be together every single day? Have you been together every single day? No, you have not. But there is a sense of growing together. So this card actually has another companion card in the deck that references the moment that these two actually met and acknowledged and understood that they were the nature of the relationship and the nature and the strength of the relationship, and a sense of belonging, not as in a possession, but as in a belonging to a group or something like that, belonging to an energy, belonging to a collective entity that would be, since this is a romance reading, a relationship. So there's a sense of, my dear friend, something with a lot of longevity, but right now we're in the part where it's not boots on the ground. It's not in reality. We're in sort of the ethereal realm of the relationship and not the day-to-day realm, because that would have a lot more certainty and a lot more clarity. We have a theoretical possibility here, but nobody really knows. They are showing up as squirrel spirit. Believe in yourself. So I think that they're taking care of themselves, taking care of their future. They don't have anything to give here. This is really freaking funny. Squirrel spirit. So yeah, there's a sense of, maybe they feel a little skittish, a little frantic. They are trying to safeguard their future. They have a lot of trust, though, in themselves and their ability to take care of their future, take care of, they're very focused on themselves right now and their own health and well-being. Your position, moth spirit, which is really interesting because over on Vimeo you show up as a moth as well. So this would be the moth, of course, uses the moon, which is our representation of intuition, which we already had here. This representation of intuition over here is it's drawn to the moon. That's their navigation apparatus. That's their compass. So oh God, and so it says surrender now. So your intuition has a very clear idea of where you want to go, and there's a sense of needing to let what happens. You're not feeling that this situation isn't for you. There's so much unclarity in this situation, but you're not feeling that it's not for you. So surrender now, allowing things to unfold, allowing your intuition, I think, to guide you, and sort of more spiritual realms to guide you. The moth goes through transformations just like a butterfly, and then also has the bonus of being drawn to the moon and moving towards that. So there's a sense of moving towards your intuition, this thing that you're longing for that's on the other side of that door, opening the door, emerging from your cocoon. There's this process that I want to say, this moth spirit is like, trust this process, surrender to this process, because it is a process of transformation and there is guidance here, and it's in your intuition. Then we have blessed, the sense that you might be cursed. Imagine, we have rose garden. So this is about boundaries, building boundaries. And this is the results from feeling cursed. Might be really big boundaries, might be huge boundaries. Like, we talk about boundaries as if they're positive, but they're absolutely necessary for relationships. I was thinking about Khalil Gibran's poem about the highest good of love is to protect each other's solitude. And I would say, I would add to that, if I may, a sense of protecting their own journey with the divine and having good boundaries. But then there's also a sense where people have really big boundaries and nobody gets to get in there, in like solitary confinement, and that's where they're staying because their boundaries are so huge. It's an entire prison complex that keeps them isolated. Again, we have this thing of this symbol of transformation here. So one way, like protecting yourself, this is valid, but also understanding that there might be such a thing as over protecting yourself. Understanding that you do have a big, gorgeous, beautiful future that does require protection. You're changing, and then that caterpillar goes into the cocoon, and And that cocoon is a protected space. Before it emerges as the butterfly or the moth, the caterpillar is going to go into the cocoon. That is the protected space that allows for transformation and change. So Rose Garden is about building beautiful things and wanting to protect those things. But it's modifying this poor use of imagination, the worst use of imagination, which is like catastrophizing and catastrophizing is probably the worst use of imagination. Imagining the worst. So maybe just a concept of healthy boundaries can help you with this sort of catastrophizing. Like if you had good boundaries, is something now more beautiful? Is something now more appreciable because you have the good boundaries? How might you grow? Pine spirit purification is second, wait, no, you got pure on the other reading. So pine spirit purification. It's winter here. And light. Again, pine spirit talks about the past here. We have message in a bottle. Maybe you're going to purify the past or re-understand your past experiences in a different way and sort of in a way purify those, see them very differently. We have a lot of snow here, and snow, covers up a lot of things, or not covers it up, but it makes an ugly winter landscape beautiful. But there's this purification, and maybe there's like purifying your thoughts and the messages that you've left for yourself, the messages that you've gotten from your upbringing that you've given to yourself, and sort of cleaning those up a little bit, making those something that can shine rather than something that that terrifies and drags you down. And we also have pine. I mean, there's pine tea. I forget what it's good for, but, maybe have some pine tea. All right. I hope that was helpful for you. Join me over on Vimeo if you want. If not, well, I'll check you out. We'll check out your storyline in a while. Ciao.